Hey everybody, how you guys doing today? AMC Bigums here. I hope everybody's having a great night. Today's video is going to be on short squeezes versus Moas, the current state of AMC, shorting, why haven't they covered, things that should make them cover, and I'm going to go ahead and show you some quotes from Ihor, that guy that works with shorts and the short squeeze percentages every single day, and just get his point of view because he has some very interesting things that I want people to understand about shorting, and I think it'll help people understand why we're in the current state that we're in. So, without further ado, let's get straight into the content. So, the first thing we're going to go ahead and talk about today is just short selling. What is short selling? You basically, an investor borrows a stock, sells a stock, they then buy the stock back at a later date, return it to the lender at a lower price, and then they pocket the difference. Naked short selling is selling a short position with the intent to fill it later without having the shares located in the first place. And if you don't end up filling that share later on, it results in an FTD. Let's go ahead and take a look over here at Investopedia. Ordinarily, traders must first borrow a stock or determine that it can be borrowed before they sell it short. Due to various loopholes in the rules, and discrepancies between paper and electronic trading systems, naked short selling continues to happen. Now, what they mean by that is market makers actually have exemptions and they're able to naked short sell legally. They're able to fill before they locate. So they're actually able to do all of these things legally. We also learned that they're able to create synthetic shares with ISDA contracts. They were able to give sham closeouts, sham resets with ISDA contracts. So I believe there's a lot of synthetics out there. I believe that they're going to have to cover those too at some point, and that will be the difference between a Moas and a short squeeze. So one thing I want to go ahead and pull up is this is Ihor, that guy that reports every day on short squeeze on short squeeze situations, gives him the score. So he clearly knows a little bit about the field, things that make position squeeze and things that, you know, don't. So let's go ahead and take a look because some of the stuff he has to talk about is extremely interesting, and a lot of people I feel look at short squeezes in an incorrect way. So let's go ahead and look at what he has to say here. So a high short interest as a percentage of float is one of the things that can help participate a short squeeze. But the bottom line is, am I making money? Short interest as a percentage of a float has small effect on whether there can be a squeeze or not. So what he means by that is, okay, let's say I am a short and I short the stock at $35, right? And it goes up to 38, 39. Suddenly, he might be panicking. Well, let's say one of the big boys come in, a market maker, a couple of these other hedge funds, and now they short it hard. Next thing you notice, that short, it's down to $30. Suddenly he's in the money. Well, the short interest went way up, but that short is now in the money, or he's barely out of the money. So his need to cover that position is not there. He's not going to cover it until A, he either makes the money he needs to, or B, it's that it's costing him too much. So what you need to do is, even according to Ihor here, the final piece of any single short squeeze. The final piece of the puzzle to a short squeeze are market to market profit and losses. A squeeze only happens if short sellers suffer large market to market losses. No one's going to exit a winning trade, no matter how crowded it is. So exactly what I was saying before, the only way you're going to get these people to start to cover is they need to be losing a ton of money on this play, or some kind of thing needs to happen to where it's going to force them to cover, like a margin call. So as you guys can see, short interest going up is nice because what that means is the spring is loaded. So when this does go up, the price jumps up. More and more and more people are going to have to cover. So when you look at short plays, yes, that short interest it matters. It matters how high it's going to go. But just because it's high, as you can see, it's got to be so costly for them as well. So I just want to go ahead and show people, a little bit of how short sellers and people that look at this, how they say this is how you force a short squeeze is you got to make it, super unprofitable for them. And that's what I've been saying for a while here. And we see that in AMC, there are tons of these hedge funds that this is actually, they're losing a ton of money on it. Some of these guys are going under. So it is happening. And I truly, truly, truly believe AMC will squeeze. Now, let's get back into the AMC situation. I believe AMC is currently in a short squeeze. I believe that market makers have been shorting this along with all those hedge funds. I believe the short interest is a lot higher than they have reported. I believe they have naked shorted this along with ISDA contracts. They're able to sweep a lot of this under the rug or push it off. This should now stop with phase 5, like I was saying in my previous videos, and the CAT system. Hedge funds were shorting it, and you were seeing market makers were actually helping them. Like look at Marvin Capital and Citadel. They're helping them stay afloat because they didn't want to losing trade, or they wanted to give them more time to hedge in other positions. Now, after seeing these comments above from iHor, let's look at who is shorting AMC. We have hedge funds and we have market makers. In a short squeeze, I'm sure you've all heard this before. Many people say small hedge funds will die off, medium ones will die off, and some of the large ones will die off, if not most of them. But a lot of people believe that Citadel and other market makers will still live. I believe this as well. A lot of people believe that a stock market crash will end them. I don't necessarily believe that is the case. They are making money every single day. Every time we buy, I'd say about 40 to 50% of all retail is using some kind of POF system. Billions of trades go by a day. They hedge every day, and they know people, where they're buying when they sell, and they know exactly when that crash is going to happen. And on top of that, they are planning for that and already hedging for that. Um, their clients, a lot of people think, hey, their clients will have to pull out of their company when the market goes down, but that also is not necessarily true. My uncle actually used to put money in a hedge fund, and he was forced to sign a piece of paper that under certain circumstances they were able to freeze his assets to where he couldn't withdraw. And if you remember the Big Short as well, that was another moment where you saw where Christian Bale was like, all right, he emailed all of his people and said, hey, I'm going to freeze your assets. Um, you can't pull out. They all said they'll sue him. Well, they're able to do that. And on top of that, one of the things that they send people is reports on where they're putting their money. They're going to tell them that, hey, we think a market crash will happen within this amount of time. And they're going to send their clients that information. They're going to send them that, hey, we're going to hedge for that. So when it crashes, don't worry about your money because we will have that hedged for in the puts and calls in the QQQ, the SPY, and things of that nature. So I can promise you, are betting on this going down. So when AMC pops and short squeezes, what's going to happen is it's going to kill all those firms out. That's what it's going to squeeze though too, is what those hedge funds, the big hedge funds, middle hedge funds, little ones, what they're all going to have to pay off. That's what it could squeeze to. And I mean, even if that's the case, you guys, it could still squeeze to 500, 1,000, 15, 2, 25, 5. Who knows? I mean, it's still a squeeze play. It's still what they're going to have to buy back for and what we hold for. I mean, it's a squeeze play. It could still go to big levels. But the way you get a Moas compared to that short squeeze is you're going to have to take the market makers down because they're the ones who have created all of these FTDs. They're the ones that have created all the synthetics. The way you get that Moas, those massive prices, you have to make them cover all of their shares and you need them to cover all of their synthetics. And the only way you're going to ever get them to do that is you have to attack their money. That's the only possible way, is to cut off their supply and make this now, as you see according to iHor, a losing battle for them. They need to be showing a massive loss on the books. Today iHor posted the short percentage and it was almost it was over 4 billion. Now think about that. Let's say even all of that or half of that is Citadel and they lost that. They can still afford that trade. They can still afford to keep going for a while. They have a lot of money. It's going to be these smaller firms, like I was saying. These are going to be the things that are going to die off. These are going to be the things that are going to set the squeeze price. The market makers are going to be the things that set the Moas price. And the way you got, like I said, I've been talking about this for a long time. The way these market makers sit here and they make that money is, like I said, every time we buy, we're giving them liquidity. You need to take liquidity away from them, even if it's just an AMC, you guys. Let's say everybody in AMC is just buying on lit exchanges nonstop. Now those FTDs are going to start to pile up. They cannot keep up with it. We're showing right now they already can't keep up with it. So if we continuously go to the public exchange, you're taking it out of dark pools. Now guess what? If they need to get these orders, I mean, like I said, they're making so much money on these things because there's zero fees on all of these dark pools, these market making dark pools. So that's why they always had the best bid ask spread. They're not charging fees for these guys. They just want the order, and they'll fill it later on to where they make a profit and can send them their little legal kickback, which is basically just a bribe. So for payment for order flow, like I said, payment for order flow is bad. It is a huge problem. But a lot of misconception goes off with people going, well, if I just get off payment for order flow, these guys aren't making money. No, they can still get your orders, you guys. I've shown you countless times. The market makers will still get your order. If you go to a platform and it does not give you the option when you buy at that exact second, if you can't literally route your order, that you can't click on a NASDAQ, you can't click on the New York Stock Exchange, you can't click on any of these lit exchanges at that second, that means your order's not going there. Unless you call them and you literally say, I need my orders routed there, your orders will not go to a lit exchange. And all over the counter is, people, is non-lit exchange orders. I mean, you see Dave Lauer just today, all day long, talking about, guys, we got to order the lit exchanges. It's the only way to get this competition back, because right now these market makers own everything. They own everything. They own the entire flow of the entire market. So they're sitting there profiting on those. They're killing people on options left and right. They're making it so they're always continuously making money, and they're continuously providing liquidity to the market, whether they have shares or not, because that is literally what the market makers are created for. So the only way to combat this, the only way to make the market makers suddenly crumble and have to cover those synthetics, which that's the Moas, that's the key, is you got to get to lit exchange. You got to start taking money away from them. You got to start doing it. If you don't, like I said, they can keep doing this for a long, long time. And yes, like I said, these small firms, these hedge funds, they are going to die off. They're going to have to cover, and a lot of money will be made on AMC. A lot of money on AMC. But like I said, if everybody's true goal in retail is to get a Moas, there's no way it will happen unless you take down the market maker. Because like I said, they will sit there, eventually cover synthetics over an amount of time. Once the short squeeze takes place, once the price goes down and down and down, they'll probably slowly sit there and cover it off, so the price will stay up, but people won't notice it as much, and then they can also stay afloat longer. So like I said, guys, always know your opponents. No matter what kind of a play you're in life and the stock market, look at what they're doing, look at what they're allowed to do, look at ways they're making money to keep going. Because if you attack those things like they're attacking us, that's really the end game for them. So like I said, we want them to cover. You got to make it a losing trade for these market makers. Go to lit exchange. If you don't know, I'll put another video up here tomorrow for every single platform. I'm going to go ahead and ask everybody to send me a video if you have an exchange other than Fidelity or Trading Pro or TD Thinkorswim. Send me your video. I would love to post it for everybody, so every single possible platform, everybody will know. Because like I said, guys, the short squeeze should happen. There's no way they can get around it, because no matter what, retail will keep buying, and if retail keeps buying, they have to keep shorting. They have to make, like we saw earlier, they have to make sure that profit doesn't go down too much, or that's when they cover. So that's all I got for you guys today. But like I said, you guys, this is why I explain to you guys every single day. The lit exchange, man, it's everything. It's literally everything for a Moas. It's not everything for a short squeeze. So you guys got to determine what you really want. Do you want a short squeeze? Do you guys want a Moas? It's 100% up to you, because one way or another, this bitch is squeezing. So I love you guys. Thank you all for listening, and have a good night.